All right, welcome to Transitions with Dr. Tam. I'm here with Essence of Poetry. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you here.
Girl, past excited. Thank you so much for having me. I feel like it's been just way too long for us to have this conversation. So let's get into it.
Ooh, I like that.
I knew you would. it's so Dr. Tam. I'm gonna have to sing.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those. Listen, we have to start with what's actually going on in the background, because as of probably 10 minutes ago, our lives were falling apart.
For real. Real bad. Real bad. Let me tell you something. I just woke up, threw on the face, and was like, come on, I'm ready.
Thea actually sent me a message and says, hey, ma'am, I need the link and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I sent it to your email. But here's what I'm thinking. Oh, well, I love that she's just, eager and wanting to get everything streamlined for an hour from now. Baby, 10 minutes.
Baby, 10 minutes. And it's okay. And we're here.
Oh my gosh. And when I tell you, if that's not just similar to how life actually works, that the last minute thing, the hiccup, the what we never expected to pop up ends up becoming the star of the show. But man, when I say we have this thing where we are able to pivot and transform and translate tragedy into triumph, and here we are still standing.
Absolutely. And I love that for us as mothers, as professionals, as advocates out here in the community doing this work for all these important things, to also champion our own troubles as well. And coming into that space as a pure example to say, you know what? I get it. I understand. Life is busy. There's a lot of things going on, but you can still be great. You can still actualize goals. You can still tap into purpose. You can still be effective. And you can do it with grace and a little bit of lip, okay?
And a little bit of lip and the earrings that you just pulled out of the closet. Let me tell y'all, okay, so we end up finding out on Instagram, Facebook, pictures, and all that kind of stuff that we have the exact same taste. I cannot tell you how many times she will post something, I will post something, and we'll be in each other's inbox talking about, I have those same earrings.
I have it in my closet. I love it. Baby, we bonded for real. We sisters all the way.
And have been for a long time. So let's start there. We met each other way back in 2000. Woo.
5?
It was when I only had 2 children. So yeah, Joshua wasn't born yet when I met you.
Joshua was not born yet.
He was born in 2007. Yeah, 2006, because I had Ari. So yes, 2006 is when we met, and it was just an instant connection. And we've been riding this ride. We were both sitting up in the daycare, y'all, with our brand new children at church.
Brand new.
And then jump in the choir and then come back and check on our kids.
Yes. And if you didn't have yours, I had them. And if I didn't have mine, you had them.
We were switching off, taking care of each other's children.
I love that for us. It's all about, and I love that we're talking about this because the village, right? That family, the knowledge of what it is to be a mom and trying to figure it out, understanding that we really don't know. We're just trying to do it as we're going, right? And to be able to relate with someone else and say, you know what, I understand what that looks like. Let me go ahead and get the babies today. It's okay. You can go in church. I'm going to watch the babies while you can go sit in service, right? Yeah. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And it's a community. It's a village. It's a sisterhood. And even though you live in a completely different state now, we've never stopped connecting. But this does lead me to somewhere where I want to go.
Okay.
The first time that I heard you sing, I was floored. And then fast forward 20 years later, I hear you do poetry and I'm just equally as floored. And I say to myself, what doesn't she do?
Right. I'm working on specializing, child, but these gifts though.
But why? And that is why I specifically wanted to speak with you, because I think we hear so much about niche down, niche down, niche down. And to some degree, there is importance to that because you're able to streamline and fine tune who you're talking to and what message you want to deliver. But in my opinion, after having observed you for so many years, maybe niche down for this person and just basically compartmentalize this part of you, but that doesn't mean ignore or avoid the rest of me that is gifted and that is talented. So if I have to have 30 niches because I'm good at 30 things, then there are 30 different populations who are going to be blessed with what I have to offer because I'm going to show up with all of who I am. And sometimes they may merge into similar settings and sometimes they may diversify. I may sing your heart out on one instance. I'll be a therapist on another. I'll talk to single moms on another. We're going to talk about locks on another, right? So it's all of the things that I can be. And when I tell you guys that Thea is that girl, tell the people some of the things that you just have going on and how.
Yeah. Girl, I love you so much because as you're watching me, I'm watching you, right? And our lives are so parallel, it's ridiculous, right? And it's such a beautiful thing because I will talk about it, but I'm watching you as well. And you are such an inspiration for how and why I'm able to walk more fully into who I am, right? Because there is a such thing as niching down and this conversation about being a master versus a jack, right? A jack of all trades and a master of none. Like we've heard it said so many times, and I'll be honest with you, that had me in a little bit of a chokehold for a little bit because I was like, okay, well, what is my niche? Where am I supposed to be? Let me target and let me zero down because the analogy or the allegory is that a pointed arrow pierces, whereas a blunt object does not. But let me tell you something about this impact, right? The impact of a blunt object is much stronger than a piercer, right? So I said, God, please tell me, what do you have me to do in your quiver, right? What am I? Because I can use a sledgehammer or I can use an arrow, but it depends on what exactly I'm trying to do as to which tool I am going to need. And I have come to embrace the fact that my purpose is tied to many talents, many gifts. And as it relates to the story of the parables, right? If God was so gracious to give me more than one gift, more than one talent, and I decided to niche down and only develop one of those, then who am I in that parable? Who do I represent? Am I the person who buried their talents because I wanted to niche down? Or did he give me more because I am capable and equipped to handle more than one gift? So if that means I'm gonna write a book, then I'm gonna write a book. If that means that I'm gonna sing some songs, I'm gonna sing some songs. If I'm gonna teach a course, I'm gonna teach a course. If I'm gonna build a consultancy, then I'm gonna do that. If I'm gonna mother, if I'm gonna mentor, if I'm gonna build, if I'm gonna be in real estate, whatever that is, if that's what God has for me, I'm going to do it and I'm going to steward it well. All of it, steward all of it, and then take a nap. 10 minutes before the StreamYard.
10 minutes before the StreamYard. Make sure you get the time in to rest and recover. And when you wake up, it just seems to be that, hey, there's more work to be done. And the person who gives you the grace and the energy to keep on going, that's the person who actually gets to wake you up from said nap.
I love it for us.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So tell us about what started you into the poetry. When I heard you, I was so, So I just knew it was going to be an Easter speech. We're used to hearing people just kind of rhyme. And then in the Black church, you hear poetry all the time. It's just in there. Didn't he rise?
Didn't he?
Let me help you be wise. You know what I mean? We just got something all the time, right? because we're just very rhythmic people just by nature. It's in our DNA. But then there is a difference between something that comes naturally because it's cultural and then something that is actually a gift that makes you stand apart from what we are all capable of doing because we are breathing and walking, right?
Absolutely.
You have that. And there is something to be said, like to be able to put words that most people don't even read consistently, can't define, would never be able to just fluidly embed that word into a conversation that is musical, but that also carries a message. That is a gift, right? And so when I heard you speak, and I heard you talking about just the Black consciousness, what it is to be a woman in America, what it is to be a Black woman in America, what it is to be a mother, holding down all of these different values, virtues, but not getting valued and not receiving the acknowledgement of all that we, child. Not only did I sit there and cry on IG Live, because my girl is showing up in this space, setting people free through a gift. And I love that because people are not coming within the four walls the way they used to. No, let me get you there, because what we also need to understand is that this amazing poet is a mental health professional and a woman of God. Glory from all the angles.
I think that's my superpower. I think it is, because I'm so passionate about mental health and wellness, and I honor and I tip my hat to practitioners and clinicians like yourself, because we need the providers of the service like nobody's business. But what occurred to me as I was walking through that journey, and I'm gonna come back to poetry, as I was walking through that journey of what is it that God would have me to do next, I don't even know if you knew this, I was working on a master's degree in counseling. And I switched to the doctorate in education because what I sensed more in my spirit was this need to educate people, like the whole concept, the consciousness around what we need to be doing for our wellness, mental health included. And once God gave me that revelation, I was like, okay, I don't necessarily have to be the practitioner or the clinician, but we need more advocates, and we need loud advocates, because if people who are suffering, who are experiencing challenges, never meet with the service provider, then what have we done? We've increased the service and the needs have also increased, but we've never connected them. And so I consider myself a conduit in that space, right? To understand minimally what I need to understand in order to communicate what I see, right? And connecting them with grace to the person who can carry them to the next level. Like that is so important for me. It's almost like the John to Jesus, right? There's grace in that. And I'm so grateful for it. I am. Poetry, though, and is like, I don't know. I'm like, Lord, what are we doing here? Because I started writing as a youth, right? I had my little books, and I was actually out in the community sharing poetry with the Teen Performing Arts Club. Shout out to TPAC. Back in the day, we were all teenagers out performing arts, singing, dancing, plays, poetry, spoken word, all the things, right? And I had a hiatus. Switching gears, I ended up in a conversation with an individual, and you and I have some parallelism here as well. And there was a conversation about, love and heart and that softness of the woman, right? There's a conversation, and I was asked in this conversation to write a letter. You write your letter, I'm gonna write my letter, and we're gonna come together and we're gonna compare these letters, and we're gonna figure out what it is that we're doing, right? And I was like, okay, sure. So I'm going to write this letter. And I sat down, Dr. Tam, and I started writing. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I stopped, and I tried to make myself stop. And I went back to write it. And there's a line in there that says, I tried to write this love letter. I'm bound to this love fetter. The whole letter was not a letter. It was not prose, my love. It was a poem.
Wow.
Sat back and looked at that thing and I was like, hold on, what are we doing? Because this is not something I was trying to do. I wasn't in the thesaurus trying to find synonyms, and I wasn't, Googling rhyme. I wasn't in a pentameter. I was just speaking my heart. I was bleeding on these pages. And there was, I'm going to call it a portal. There was a gate that was opened by my submission to just open myself and really analyze what was happening inside me, contrary to popular belief. And the poet was birthed that day. Child, she was a poet and didn't know it. Child, she didn't know it. She didn't know it. And we're here. So, of those series of poems that came after that letter, they're all love poems, all of them. I ended up throwing 21 of them into a book, and I call that book 47 Seconds. And the notion behind that is that you can, in theory, fall in or out of love in 47 seconds. Why? Because I was asked to write a letter, and when I opened that thing up, I was like, it's some stuff in here. It's some stuff in here. And so that's the notion behind the book, 47 Seconds.
Where can someone get this book? Because I've seen it.
Yes. So The Sweet Baby is available on Amazon under Dr. Athea Vanzant, The Essence of Poetry, 47 Seconds. I also have it on my website, essencetrainingandconsulting.com. So if you're interested in bulk purchasing, because some organizations do like to order that book for like their singles ministry or their married ministry and things like that. So I do offer a special bulk pricing on my website that you cannot get on Amazon. And then I like to scribble, a little something to you if you order it from my website. So you get my autograph and a little note as well.
And I highly recommend get on Dr. Vanzant's calendar. And when I tell you her calendar is booked, talk to the people. Because I was like, I'm this woman's friend and I got to schedule in. Bars.
Bars, baby.
I'm about to be MC Tam. And
I'm here for it because yes, it's so in you. The gift is there, baby.
Baby, listen, I was just so excited about all of the things that you do have going for you because I do know some of your story. Mm-hmm. And I think what's so amazing, similar just to the way this whole stream even started today, the pivots. And so for anyone or any entity that thought that you were down for the count, because now you got to raise these children, mm-hmm. and it seems like a fail, and it seems like, child, get this book, 47 Seconds, right?
Get us forward.
But that's just one book they can get.
Yes.
Then I saw that my girl has a book about the parenting journey, just about motherhood, right? And specifically to our single mothers, who a lot of us are in the trenches every day. And one thing that I can say from experience is that we do it all, but it is a thankless profession. Sometimes that gratitude comes years later when your children are doing well. So I was actually happy to see that there is literature that speaks to us that can encourage us during the season, in the process. And for even some of our married moms, what I've come to realize, mm-hmm. a lot of them feel single. And to me, that feels worse, to have somebody laying next to you and you still feel like you're doing it all by yourself, right? So talk about what led you into writing a book for mothers.
Oh, my goodness. So thank you for that question. I'll be honest, in what led me to write that particular book, it was me in a room with the Spirit of God. And I was like, we're going to have a problem. we are going to have a problem. I'm, as the kids will say, I'm about to crash out because this is hard. This is hard. And you know, I'm blessed to have a parental unit that is still bound in marriage after 44 years. So I had an amazing example. But I also was living my own life that was not theirs, that did not look like theirs. And I had some failures and I had some successes, and I had 3 beautiful people who were looking to me for support and correction, and they were looking for that routine. They were looking for standards. They were looking for all the things. And some of those answers I had, and some of them I didn't. And some of the answers that I had to give them, they didn't want. And I was like, what are we doing here? And before I can pour from my cup, I need to be filled, right? And so my mother taught me the value of journaling when I was a little girl. We were all into diaries and doing all the things, but she taught me the beauty of expressing, right? Writing it down and getting it all out and purging it, you know, from my emotional seat, right? And so God and I had a conversation, and the next day we had a conversation, and the day after that we had a conversation, and it looked like journaling, right? And so I turned that conversation into a 31-day journal. And my goal, our goal, mine and the Spirit's, is that whomever picks this book up with any day in mind, whether you do it consecutively for 31 straight days, or you show up whenever it's like, oh, let me pick this book up, and it's 6 months later, whatever day you flip to and turn to, I pray that what is on that page is rhema for your life, right? Because I pour so much of what God had for me into those pages, and it's simple, right? But it's effective. And I couple it with scripture, right? So it is a spiritual guidance through all the things that you need to shore up as a parent, right? So taking those moments for respite, taking those moments to research things about whatever it is that your child may be experiencing, right? Having those moments to connect with others, taking the moment to actually rest, right? Taking the moment to ask the questions, the hard questions, even if you don't have an answer once you finish the question. Like, we walk through each of those days within that 31-day span.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're just so cool.
Oh, thank you, my girl.
I promise you, I have the best of friends. That's what makes me great. It's my circle.
And the connectedness of like minds, I am so here for it, because we feed each other. You're out here doing your whole entire thing, being a light and a beacon, and you know, somebody on this side over here in Georgia need a little light shine too. So I'm so excited to connect with you in this space. So here's the cover of the book, Parenting Anxiety in Little Ones, also available on Amazon, and it's also available on essencetrainingandconsulting.com. And I do bulk pricing for that as well. So that particular book, I am working with several, you all call them ISDs, independent school districts. I'm working with several school districts here in my area to connect our parents with this resource, right? Because there's not, quote unquote, a manual. And we do provide tons of resources and services to families. But sometimes when you curl up in your bed with a cup of cocoa or tea or whatever, your fix is, and a blanket, you just want to purge some things out and write some things out and work through your personal healing so that you can be a better parent when you get out of bed. That's what the resource is. Yeah.
Tell me about this consulting, because I think that's cool. And I know that a lot of the resources that you've already published and that you already provide also can merge into that consulting. So who are you consulting? How can people reach you? What is that all about? Talk to us about how that is.
Girl, let me tell you the beauty of just saying yes, right? Following the yes, right? So I know that there's popular conversation around, oh, you should be empowered to say no to this and that. And there is place and time for that. But sometimes when you are spiritually being called to a place, your yes is so valuable. You will walk yourself into another dimension of purpose just by giving your yes when your spirit is called to that place. So I received a phone call out the blue from a university who wanted me to come provide multi-session consultancy to their faculty and staff as it relates to diversity. At the time, we were very much embracing the concept of equity, inclusion, belongingness, justice, all these things, right? And I had facilitated a few courses on a different institution. And this, my alma mater called, and they were just like, hey, we need you here. Not anyone else. We need you. And I walked in that space and I said, yes. And out of it, I said, okay, there's a space here for someone like me to provide such services and others. So I built a consultancy, an LLC, where I go into different agencies or organizations to provide the level of education that we need, the awareness that we need around these sensitive topics, including DEI, belongingness, including advocacy, including I call it a workshop. The workshops that give us the power to use our words, to use our advocacy, right? Because as private citizens, so many times we look to our elected officials to solve the problems.
Yeah.
They work on a certain level with certain parameters. But those of us who are private citizens have the ability to create and provide services. And that's where our empowerment as a community happen. And that's the space I'm consulting in.
I love it. What's coming up for you?
Oh my goodness.
That's probably an easier question to ask. What's not coming up?
Yes. So the pedal is all the way to the floor from now until December for sure. So I am moving in a lot of different spaces, doing a lot of things with advocating, etc. I typically like to post just a general itinerary on my social, just because I do travel a little bit. And sometimes I'm in, my friends and family's area and they want to pop in on me. So I like to put that up. But we are literally booked and busy from now until December, doing all types of things, poetry anniversaries. I do some open mics. That's not my preference. Like I like to go to fellowship and be among other poets, but my advocacy is in different spaces, right? So I just finished a domestic violence event close to my area where the mayor was there, the coroner was there, the sheriff's department was there, like all the people who are on the front lines doing the work are there, as well as those with their lived experiences. Those are the stages I like to be on, because that's where I feel like my voice, my gift is most effective. So between NAACP or local authorities or traveling to other organizations, that's where you can find me. I do also have my annual show in December. I'm humbled right now because this annual show literally came out of a pull on my spirit, and I said yes. Again, one of my poetry mentors was like, hey, we're going to do a show. And I was like, okay, sure. How can I support? No. You're doing the show. We're supporting you. Oh, okay. And we pulled that thing together and we did it, and it's been an annual thing. It's been something that the community looks forward to every year. It is much bigger than myself, and it is moving much beyond where I thought it would be. And I'm giving my mental time to catch up with where my spirit is placing. That's where my pause is, because this show will travel. It sells out every year. And yeah, it's so different than a regular open mic, because we talk about the things that you would talk about in your living room with your family, your friends, and then walk away from the conversation possibly with no advocacy, these are the conversations we're having. We're talking about social justice, about mental health. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about these things in poetry with a little bit of smooth jazz and a little bit of, a horn here or there and maybe a mocktail or a cigar or whatever your fancy is. We're doing it in that space, super dressed up and feeling good and feeling fine and celebrating each other. But we're talking about the topics, and people are walking away with healing.
And that really ultimately is the point. However, you are used as a vehicle. I love to use the analogy, whatever you plant, there's going to have a harvest. So think about if your garden, your life's garden is filled with weeds. Somebody planted them. Mm-hmm. So maybe to readjust the company we keep, maybe we need to adjust what is the actual goal, because I do recognize that a lot of times with people, the behaviors and the motives. So you might be doing well, but if the motivation behind it is stardom, you're still not going to reap, right? What it is that you really need to reap, because it's not meant to help people. It was meant to be seen. And that's why you are so exponentially blessed, because you are really out here trying to help people. And if there's anything that God will favor and flower, it is a vessel that is here to help. And so you're just an extension of his purpose, right? So if you don't mind sharing, do you have a poem that you could offer us today so the people can see essence? I know Thea. A lot of people know Dr. Vanzant. The essence is a woman that a lot of folks can't handle and will have you all kinds of discombobulated. So Essence, take it away.
Thank you. Oh, okay. We will we'll stay in the same vein. We'll do what we shared on yesterday. Put your seatbelts on and grab your tissues. We're gonna bring you back after we take you through there. Take me through there. Take me through there. Okay. It was black, and it wasn't very shiny, but it flashed so quickly that mountains got out of its way before it made its way to what could be its final destination. It was gripped with the power to strip the breath of life ever so tightly in his hand. His middle finger was the strongest, taking its position right next to the other fingers on the grooves of the grip panel, encasing the magazine well. That was the semi-permanent housing for the hollow points that dwelled somewhere between protection and an irate, unexplained, undiagnosed rage of manic bipolar with depression. The safety notch found the web of his hand, and it was firmly pressed against all he professed to believe in. His eyes locked. And though it was a striker fire, it was a silent soundlessness of his sinister stare being like a hammer being cocked. The whites of his eyes were as red as bulls. Fire blared from his nostrils like unburned fuel in American muscle exhaust as his index finger rested ready to squeeze, not pull. Might he flip his wrist to line up the rear and front sights before her very eyes was the view of his and her life. He loved her. He married her. And he gave her beautiful children. And though he never laid a hand on her, he controlled her every decision. The holes in the numerous apartment walls bear record of his aggression. The neighbors knew when sanitation picked up their trash can by the clamoring chaos that kept count of his progressing depression. And to check her into submission, he simply threw a temper tantrum, to which she gave in. She gave him her body and her soul, and her confidence was so trauma bonded that life didn't exist outside of him. She lost her career ambition. And between a rock and a hard place was her current juxtaposition, and the view of life now in frame was hers, but beyond recognition because she missed the warning signs. She learned to normalize destructive behavior. She fed herself his lies in attempts to minimize the excuses from his enabler. It was Black. And it wasn't very shiny. But it flashed back so quickly that I couldn't tell you how or why, but he released that weapon into her custody. And that night became their dreaded history, their muted history of how she survived to tell this story. And it may be Black, and it may not be very shiny, but it is a testament of my past, whereas it could have been my eulogy. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work hard. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. And I'll keep on surviving. Essence of poetry.
Man. I'm just going to leave again.
Come on back over here. Let me talk to you.
Girl, listen, what is your favorite color? Just help me de-escalate. Help me bring it down, because wow. Yeah. I'm here. You are absolutely right, sir. Yes. I don't even understand. And I'm literally like trying to, yeah.
I cry every time. Every time.
You got me on the internet.
Over here. Every time. I can't do it without it, because there are so many of us out here experiencing things. And we put these lips on and these earrings on and we walk out these doors and we are great in grace. But on the inside, we are working,
girl,
to be whole and to be well. And that is a continuum. It is a process, and it is not linear.
No. And it's difficult to understand your worth, but have to fight every day to defend it.
Yes.
And then sometimes you feel like you have to settle for the one thing or the one person that's kind of okay with it, even though you know you deserve so much more, but you don't know if much more will like you as is.
Yes.
And so it is just beautiful when I say community is everything, because sometimes all we have is each other.
Yes.
Sometimes all we have is another sister to be able to say, I see you. Sometimes all you have is a genuine brother. I remember when I was going through my divorce, how important it was every night for my father to call me, say, I love you. Yes. Because what he was insisting is that a man that doesn't have a demand on how you need to show up is the voice that you hear every day, right? So for the woman who doesn't know her father, doesn't have her father, he may have passed, right? Or for the gentleman who's also dealing with it, for the young mother who doesn't have a relationship like that for her son, her daughter, these spaces have to exist. Because as you were offering your words of life, I could think of a dozen women who I interact with daily who fit that description. And when you're working in schools, and these kids, and these are little people who have had 12 years, 15, 18 at the most, years on the planet, and they have that kind of trauma and that type of trauma, right? So where are the people who hold space for them without judgment? And so it just brings me to tears, because it makes me feel like if essence exists, and I know, as the scripture tells us, you just happen to be in this cave, but there are 700 others who are dispersed throughout the earth, who have also been called and are using and activating and elevating their voices. And it makes me feel like, okay, so there's a place for my kids to hide, because my kids don't live with me anymore. But there's someone where they are, right? So, yeah. Also, I'm just moved because you're my friend, and I love it when we
in real life,
I just
my friend in real life,
and this is a person who I talk to when we ain't talking about nothing serious, roasting and high-siding on the internet. This is who.
High-siding for sure.
Okay, I got to make my way down to you. And you got to make your way up to me.
For sure. So the beauty is, I was sharing with a trusted friend about the fact that I was going to be sharing on your space today. And the immediate question was, okay, so when we flying out, baby, I would hop on a plane so fast for Dr. Tam. You don't even understand. I'll shift some gears for Dr. Tam. Baby, I will come anytime. I will move my car.
I ain't got nothing but space for you.
Let's do it. ASAP. If you are free, I did talk about the Essence of Poetry show, but I'm gonna put the dates out there for you or for anyone else who may be interested. December 19th is always the Friday before Christmas. I know people are traveling and going here, there, and everywhere, but I love it because when you get to where you're going to spend time with family, what y'all do is sitting in the living room, right? And that's a beautiful thing, doing all the games and all the things. But sometimes families like to go out and do something nice together. So the Friday before Christmas every year, this year, December 19th, we'll have the Essence of Poetry show. And we are doing the Essence of Poetry Retro Room. So we're doing a throwback as it relates to spoken word and poetry. We're going to sit it in some neo soul. It's going to be a little bit of a tribute to, you remember Brown Sugar and Love and Hip Hop and all those things. So we're doing a little bit of that yimmy ya, yimmy yay type of energy, and then we're gonna crack it wide open and get into the cipher. And the cipher, think battle rap but poetry. It's so dope. So we're gonna do that as well and talk about all the topics and spend time together. Where we are going to be in Macon this year. Usually I flip between Macon and Atlanta, but Macon was like, you coming back this year? And I'm like, okay. So the demand is there. So we're going to be back in Macon, Georgia again this year for that show. Thank you so much. Come on, pinned comment. You're so efficient over here, and I love it.
I need people to be there. December 19th, Essence of Poetry show in Macon, Georgia. I promise you will not be disappointed, because my friend puts on an event. I've been able to see some of the things that she's curated live. And when I tell you, it's not just, oh, this is a spot, this is a place. No, there's always some elegance there. It's where you want to put on your heels. Okay. And baby, your girl likes to dress up. So if you give me an event where I get to dress up.
Every time. And next time you make your way to the Parisian city, I'm going to need you to take your girl with me, okay? Take me with you. Please.
Let's make it happen. I'm not even kidding.
I'm not either.
I'm not even kidding, because I'm itching to get up out of here.
Okay, let's go.
I feel like I've been sitting down too long. I done sent these children away, and they are good. And so now I have time. And so it's like, now I don't have to wait until the school year is over to actually do stuff, because
I love that.
Just put my hair and go, right? So you just tell me what time.
Come on, Journey. We're gonna do that thing for real. I'm here for it. And seriously, back channel offline, we will talk dates. And Dr. Tam, Dr. Thea are going to Paris. We're going to do it. Oh, I love us. Come on, when greatness gets in the room, we do things.
Yeah, we don't plan the whole trip in front of y'all.
In front of the world. Why y'all watching? I love this for us. You know, the beauty is growing up, and I share this with my kids all the time because they're going through that whole phase of define your own tribe, where's my place in the world, et cetera, et cetera. Like the older I get, the more revolutions, I'll say it that way, the more revolutions, the more and more I find my tribe. You know what I mean? Those people who are gifted and poised and talented and have that drive and ambition to go do the things, right? Purpose connected. And I find such alignment. And so when, you know, people get in the same room, in the same space, and we're all on that same vibration, energy or whatnot, there's such a beautiful feeling there. It's so energetic, energizing, and relaxing all at the same time. Like you get empowered, right? But you also get to breathe, right? And not in that space where you're suffocating and you're having to do. Like you can just be, and it's okay. It's okay. And I love that.
And there's just something about being able to exist.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different facets of our life. We have to perform.
Yes.
And we have to, like, am I Tammy or am I Tamika?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you just get to exist and you find like-minded people who also understand that within that existence, there are flaws and there are fumbles. Yes. And there are fears, and they don't see that as a limitation on how they get to show up. They see it as an opportunity to build your confidence and your strength. Hold on to them, because what ends up happening is in 2006, you have no idea that close to 2026, someone is still in your life with all of her essence, doing all of the things, making sure that your transitions are smooth. Thank you for being my friend.
For being my friend. Don't you do this for me. I look now. I done got it together a couple of times in this show. You gonna bring it back out one more time? I see.
Yeah, I know. Let me get my together.
Jesus. Oh,
thank you for joining me on this podcast, but also just walking with me through life. So many different parallel stories to where it's like, okay, Lord, did you just create the same person twice and put them in two different states? But if that is the case, thank you for allowing us to have space and time with each other at the same time, to where we just understood that distance has nothing to do with connection. So thank you.
Thank you.
What do you want to tell the people as we say good night, goodbye, good afternoon, good morning, whenever they're listening? What do you want to tell them?
I'm so very excited to share space with each one of you. Thank you so much for attending this show and for watching the replay. Thank you for your support of Dr. Tam and all the amazing things that she is doing in her world and her life. I want to say thank you for your support of myself, Dr. Vanzant. Thank you for your support of Essence and Essence of Poetry. Thank you for your voice and for your advocacy. And what I would say to anyone experiencing their own personal challenges or lived experiences, just keep going. Breathe and take another step. Breathe and take another step. And we, the collective we, the community of advocates, will be here with you to support you as you continue. You can find me on Instagram under, Essence of Poetry, Essence_of Poetry. You can also follow me on Facebook under my government, Athea Vanzant. You can also find me doing some amazing things on Essence Training and Consulting.com. So all the resources, booking, all those types of information is available on the website.
Typing all of that in.
I love that for us. Hit
it. And boom, we got it. This is where you find Dr. Vanzant, Essence of Poetry. I want you all to follow her. I want you all to patronize her businesses. And I want you to show up on December 19th to the Essence show. I want you to be dressed very well
Very much.
Thank you, my girl. And thank you all for tuning into another episode of Transitions with Dr. Tam. I love you, baby.
I love you back.